Berisha. Diamante.
Durante with a free header.
And the honour of Western United's first A-League goal goes to a familiar face. Bessart Berisha. It's Connor Kane on the left. Alessandro Diamante with the ball on a string. And
Oh, Diamante!
And the Western service crew are celebrating. It's Tongyek beating Rolls.
Week I'm joined by, well, Kelsey's not there, Scott, and the return of the fabled return legend and meme lord Lebby. How you going, sir?
Well, you know, I've been a bit sore for the past couple of weeks, so I haven't been able to make it. Been on the treatment table, but look, I'm not 100%, but I'm good enough to get a good 60 minutes out of me today.
Oh, wicked. Let's see if we can really push through that injury, get some exercise happening, and if needed, we'll get Diamante to come give you some stretches for a cramp.
That's all right. We can always make a sub. Jay might be home from work, so if he gets to 60 and I need a bit of a rest, we can sub him in. Just make sure you get the numbers right, boys.
Scott, how you going?
Yeah.
Western New Wanderers with a 4-1 win. A game against Brisbane got delayed due to a storm that damaged the stadium. Victory drew with league leaders CCM, which, wow, that's a big deal for them. Jets almost to win over the Phoenix, and Sydney couldn't score against a solid Adelaide side. Any highlights for you guys?
I just want to, I know he's been going nuts. I think everybody's expected him to, but Adelaide this season, absolutely nuts. And our boy Joshy Cabs is getting a start for him. How many games in a row now? 3, I think it is.
Yeah.
So they're travelling really well. I've been I tipped them for top 6 this season, but I'm a bit surprised at how well they are doing. So, and big shout out to our boy, the Cab Daddy, for actually getting some game time, which we probably should have given him, because if he's starting for a team that's doing that well week in, week out, well, there's no reason he couldn't start for us, because we really need to pick up our game.
On the note of Adelaide, just on that front, Delianov, amazing.
Yeah, and another one.
Another product of ours, well, not product of our city, but by way of us.
We didn't play this weekend, but we had 6 players from last season play this weekend, and only one of them turned in a shithouse performance, which made me lose my fucking dream team.
Can
anyone guess who that is? Can anyone guess?
Aspro.
The man, the myth, the legend.
I
didn't
realise Adelaide was so high up in the ladder, to be honest.
Yeah, second. They'd go above, from what I can remember, they'd go above Central Coast if they win the game that got in hand of them. But City's got 2 ahead of Central Coast. So if City was to win both of them, they'd be top. Adelaide second, Central Coast third.
But if they lose this week against us, they'd be
Scotty, I wish I was as optimistic as you about this week, especially at 5:30 on a Thursday.
Yeah, it's an ambitious time slot, isn't it?
I've got a race there from work. I'm not happy about it. 5:30 on the Friday on the public holiday, you can get around that. Everyone can understand. But 5:30 on a Thursday, I'm going to have to shoot off from work. I'm going to be there in an hour, 15 minutes. No pre-game feed for me. I'm looking forward to it, but it's surely it could have been on at 7. That would have suited a lot of people better.
Definitely, it's a really weird time slot, isn't it?
I do think a lot about heading to the game about the same time, because I've got school pickup, around 3:30. So I won't be able to get on a train until about 4. So
yeah, well, I'm getting driven.
I'm gonna go this week, Scott.
Look, I haven't seen much games this week, but I'm gonna leave it there. Because every good player has a bad performance every now and then, so it happens.
You mean every shit player has a decent performance every now and then?
Not with Stammer. He's the other way around.
Okay. So we'll get on to a little bit of something different here. So on Saturday, the 27th of March, Western United hosted a game, come and try day for the power chair team. Scott, you were on site at Eagle Stadium for your children's basketball. What can you tell us about the power chair day?
Yeah, I usually on my Saturday, afternoon, and I thought I'd sneak down and watch the Power Chair League, and some of the young talent down there was fantastic. The amount of skills that you need for this power league is just not as simple as just do your turn. The more power shot is, and you've got to get your accuracy really on point to get a good pass and to get the cross in. So the amount of skill there is just amazing, and it's still in the tryout mode. So I think they had one a few weeks ago. They have had another one now. I'm not sure if they've got others, but they're bringing in a lot of new faces each time, and a lot of people that went to the first one have turned up again to the second one because they just are loving it that much. And they're all having the time of their lives down there. Like, I did see one of the young guys, he scored a goal with one of their muck around matches, and he ended up going down. He was that excited, so he was just loving life, and it was really good to see. And it's another Western United team, so it's just fantastic to see.
Want to get around the boys?
Yeah, it's great to
And
hear.
girls, I think it's mixed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mixed. There's I think I saw. I think it's one of the so many young players there. Like, there's a lot of kids going, which is fantastic to see.
Yeah, just another avenue effort into, which was really great. I was so ecstatic to hear about it, and thanks, Scott, for checking it out while you were there that day. Do you guys want to get into our NPL?
Yeah, why not?
So the NPL team to take on Melbourne Victory last Saturday. I was really enjoying getting to watch an extra game a week. The under-23s played a very interesting game for a 2-2 draw, which saw a player from Victory get red carded and sent off, which I couldn't actually see who got carded because the telecast hadn't come back in from the halftime break, but then come back in. But I'm going to say it's better than Fox Sports.
Yeah, it was a bit of a horrid moment, wasn't it, that one? But yeah, I wasn't sure if it was a penalty or a free kick for a while because, you can't see what's happening and they're just going on about the red card. And eventually they said it was a free kick. But, yeah, besides that, it was pretty good to watch. I didn't see it all, but, yeah.
Speaking of Fox Sports being a shambles, did you guys see the free kick taken quickly, Craig Noon goal? Because
yes.
I didn't. No, you didn't.
I saw
because they missed it.
But that was a very sneaky effort. Like,
don't get me wrong. Top goal. No one was expecting it. I think probably the West Sydney goalkeeper was expecting it even more than Fox Sports was, though.
I don't think so. I think he was still too busy pointing, trying to shuffle his defenders around. He was up close pointing, and that's when Noon just thought, "Fuck this, I'm going up top," and he just popped it up top.
Oh, look, I'm not saying that he expected it. I'm saying that he expected more than Fox Sports did.
Yeah.
So this was a really good game, and I was really happy to see Pasquale get some game time. And also, Voigt is amazing in this game, and he's wasted at this level. The fact he's in our starting 11 or our bench really it boggles the mind. They managed men down, which was a bit of a bugger. It was very close that Sanchez got in the last Victory A-League game. So it was really hyped up. It was such a fun watch. Even though the boys got the draw in the end, it was a really good game. I really liked Bayo and Agwek scored. Side note, Skatatas, yay or nay that?
Yay. For an NPL team under 23, I think he's the perfect bloke to be. It's either him or Vujicic you'd give it to. But I think Skatatas, just his presence on the field and the way he, especially against that level of opposition, the way he'd make himself known, the way he'd get in there, 100% Skatatas captain.
Yeah, he's probably going to be more of a regular for that team, which is why you can't really give it to Vujicic or Pasquale or one of the others, because he's probably going to be a more regular player there. So it's good to see a bit of a senior player on that list.
Yeah. Senior for that level, at least.
Senior for that level, yeah.
How old is he again? Is he only 23 or something? I think himself. Or?
23, yeah. So he's getting that.
But on another note, it could develop him for us down the line, which is really good about having, like, the good thing about having a proper NPL setup now is that we have that option to develop these players outside of the A-League. For instance, Emery's getting consistent game time there. Pasquale's getting you go, Leb.
I think that's what we've been lacking when it comes to being able to keep hold of our younger players, is the fact that they haven't been able to get game time in any sort of competition kind of sense, because players like Stammer, players like Yule, players like Cabs, they come on for 10 minutes at the end of an A-League game once a month, if that. And at the time that they were at the club last season, especially when they weren't getting that much game time, the only other time they were getting game time was during friendlies. So they weren't having any sort of level of competition against like proper men as well, put it that way, in the NPL. We'd usually be playing lesser teams, or we'd be playing George Cross every 2 weeks. I think it's a reason why we have lost those sorts of players, because we didn't have that sort of setup in the past, which I think is a big plus for us, keeping hold of some of our good young talent that we may not be able to give first team opportunities to yet.
Yeah, spot on, really. Like,
Yeah.
as hard as he is 21, so
21, okay, yeah.
You may remember his birthday from that loss.
But I didn't realise these players were so young. Like Pasquale's still 21 as well. So
I knew he was that young.
It's good to see that these players are getting game time. Like, I'm pretty sure if they start on the bench for the seniors and don't get a game, they can play the NPL 3 the following day. Is that correct?
Yeah, but if they come on at all, they can't.
Which is good, because they can at least get a bit of game time if they don't quite get onto the field. So
I think that's the perfect way to work it. The only problem that hampers that is, which I don't think is a bad thing for the sport, I think it should be incorporated worldwide, because not all leagues in the world are doing it anymore like they did at the end of last season, where there's 5 subs now. Having 5 subs gives the chance for younger players to come on, and it gives, I feel like, especially in the A-League sense, it's made it more exciting because you brought on fresh legs, and there's things that are more likely to happen at the end of the game with fresh players. But at the same time, if you've got 5 subs and you bring on 3 at the 80th minute or something, or before the 80th minute, and then you blow 2 and you sub on 2 young kids with a minute of stoppage time to go when you're 3-0 up, they miss tomorrow's game. I think there should be some sort of criteria where it depends on the minutes that you played, correlate to the minutes you're allowed to play the next day if you are one of those players.
Yeah, that could make sense. But then again, if you're putting a player on with like a couple minutes to go, you also don't want to risk that type of player. Like, obviously, he's in the plans as well, so you don't want to be pushing him too much as well, I guess, in ways. But yeah. Look,
I'm a bit of a stat guy, so I look how that kind of hampers. It's like giving a big when it comes down to stats, it adds to players' appearances in the league, so it adds to their professional appearances. So it's a bit like, that's something they can tell their kids, grandkids. I'm a bit sentimental like that, but in another sense, it's a boost. If you're a kid who never played in the A-League, what do you think of you, even if you come on at the 90th minute for 5 minutes of stoppage time, will do if you can play, let's say you play 5 minutes of stoppage time, so let's say you can only play 85 minutes the next day for the NPL side, what would that do coming on for those 5 minutes? Obviously, physically, you'd be fit to play the game tomorrow, but how much would that boost your confidence in your performance levels for the next day?
Yeah, that makes 100% sense. Like, even if you knock it off at the 80th minute, anything after, if you come on in the 80th, you should be at least able to get half an hour of game time for the following game, for the NPL game, if it's over the next day.
I think it should correlate in the sense that, let's say you play 30 minutes in the A-League, you're only allowed to play 60 minutes the next day. I think it should add up to a full 90 minutes.
Yeah. No, I agree that completely, but yeah. Look,
I don't think that's going to happen. We're speaking hypotheticals here. We're putting off track a little bit, but good conversation to have regardless.
Yep. I'm happy we've got an NPL team, and I think it's really going to bolster the younger talent we've got in the team. Now let's move on. The under-21s lost 3-2 to Victory as well. There isn't much information because that wasn't telecast and I wasn't at the game. Into injuries, Joshy Risdon is still out for the 3 to 5. Seb Pasquale back into the NPL team does note that he's getting his mints back into his legs, so he's getting fitness back up, which is a good note. Moving on.
Pasquale was still injured. It still said like 3 to 5 weeks on his thing last week.
But the thing is, he had a soft leg. If you watched him play, he wasn't his usual dynamic self. It was a way to get him moving and playing again. It wasn't full ball Pasquale. Yeah. And that's the thing. He's probably going to be doing like gradual training,
He'll for the next month or so, and then he'll end up on the bench for it.
It's under 23, so Riston can't quite go to the NPL, can he? Coming back from injury.
You can have from what I know, you can have a certain amount of overage players.
Yeah.
You can have like 2 or 3 or something. So he could, coming back from injury, I might be wrong, but from what I'm aware, you can have, I don't know whether it's 2 or 3 or it's like 2 plus a goalie. You can have a certain amount of overage players in the team, but only, a very limited amount.
Because that'd be good for people like Risdon coming back in instead of trying to jump straight back in this. Have a game or 2 at the NPL level, take it a bit easier, but push yourself, get up and running.
Than actually getting, let's say, 15 minutes on the park in an A-League game.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'd like to take a moment to thank Glowpair. Glowpair makes self-watering planters for all skill levels. They're just about to launch some coriander with it over spring and summer, which is going great in some curries and stuff like that and some pastas. So go to www.glowpair.com.au for Australian listeners, and for international listeners, go to www.glowpair.com for international listeners. And we will be running a Mother's Day competition, so stay tuned. We've got a big prize for that, so I hope everyone's interested.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, what did you put it in? Do you have it on some lamb?
No. What I do is I boil up some potatoes first, and then I'll chuck them on just a pan with a little bit of olive oil and some rosemary, and fry it up, make them all nice and crispy. Then you just have a little bit of salt and pepper on them. Beautiful.
That sounds delicious. Leb, we haven't spoken, I don't think, about Thursday, April 1st, in the worker and anyone friendly time slot of 5:35. We take
I'm so pissed off.
It's all about Fraser, Melbourne City at Amy Park. This will be our 6th game against City, who are in a run of hot form, currently sitting 3rd with 6 wins in a row, which is a club record for them. And I, for one, would love to destroy that and not let them make it 7. What do you guys think?
I don't think you're the only one there, buddy.
We got this.
Honestly, I don't think we do. J-Mac's on fire. Craig Noon's on fire.
Game eventually. Why not be against us? We're due for a good one.
Are we due for a good one? We haven't done. Yeah, we have been absolutely shocking the past few weeks. Absolutely shocking. Like even against Brisbane when we won, we weren't terrible that game. That's the only game we haven't been terrible in the past 4, but they were terrible.
Yeah.
But we're due for a good one. City are due for a bad one. Hopefully this is the game that they both happen and we finally beat them.
I wish I could believe this guy. I wish I could be more optimistic about this because I'm just not this week. I'm not optimistic about it. Like as bad as it sounds, I'll leave my predictions till later, but it's not going to be a good one. It's not going to be a good one.
Now, rolling on to, do you think we'll use the current incarnation of the starting 11 against Melbourne City, what we've used in the previous weeks?
No, I think Roods might make some changes because of how poorly the team's performed. It's our biggest issue is the defence because we haven't been scoring a shit ton of goals apart from the early stages of the season, but we've still been doing okay up front. So I think the front third, even though Bessart probably hasn't been at the top of his game, the front third and the midfield should probably stick and stay the same. But our biggest issue is our defence, and we've got to sort that out really quickly. Yeah. And I don't know what he's going to do and what he can do, whether he drops someone a bit more experienced back there. Like, I don't know, like would Victor Sanchez work in central defence? Should he go a back four? Like, these are the sorts of questions that he needs to work out, because those are our biggest, that's our biggest issue at the moment.
All I could say is I definitely agree. Back four, we need to nail it. Vujica has been on fire. He's got the pace with him. He could keep up with someone like, McLaren and that.
Yeah, he needs to be playing.
Yeah, a back four with Imai, Uzcock, Vujica, and Calva.
Sorry, I don't rate Uzcock, and Calva hasn't been doing it for me recently either.
But the four of them rather than the three, you've still got Vujica there to help play. I say Uzcock because he's probably got more of a leg speed than someone like Durante or someone like that.
Look, at Calves, I can get around at right back if it's a back four and like a kind of conventional back four, not him playing as a wing back. I can't get around Calva as a centre back because he's too error prone in that area, and I think for A-League level, he's good enough to be playing right back, as long as it's a defensive right back role. But that means we need to change up our tactics. And how well has Rudin trained the team to play in a back four compared to a back five? That's another thing I'm worried about. I think the biggest issue is that we didn't invest in defenders during the transfer window. We've gone and we've signed someone like Brad Inman as a replacement for Max Burgess. Honestly, we didn't need a replacement for Max Burgess. We've got players like Ika. We've got players like Victor Sanchez. We've got even Lockie Wales. We've got the players there that can do the job. But I would have rather us fuck off Max Burgess instead of signing someone like Brad Inman, who's a quality player, don't get me wrong. I'd rather have signed a defender, because we need to shore up that defence. And the only player in the back three, because honestly, we're not playing a back four. I don't count Connor Payne and I don't count DP as defenders.
No.
The only player who's worthwhile in our team in a defensive standpoint, apart from the two goalies, they're outstanding, is Tomoki Mai. That's the only one I'd actually keep at the moment.
Uzcock is not.
I'd rather give Brendan Hamill a chance at this point, because the others have fucked up. He hasn't fucked up properly yet. He might, but I'd rather give him the opportunity, because I'm getting fed up with Tommy Uzcock and I'm getting fed up with Aaron Calder.
I'm the opposite with Uzcock. I think he when he has gone more centre back than more upfield where he has been playing a lot, he has actually done very well. Like, he's got the height there and he's got the speed to keep up with a lot of the defenders.
Yeah, but he is so error prone. He's got the height, he's got the speed. Look, I've got the height and I've got the speed, but would I be a good defender? No. I couldn't play centre back for Western United. I don't think Tommy Uzcock can either.
But then again, you also look at the faults of. So I blame Rudin for a lot of it, because he's blamed.
I blame the tactics too. Don't get me wrong.
He's been playing two talls against, a team like Brisbane, where they're all small, faster players. Now, of course they're going to run past the two tall, slower players, and you've got things like that. And to jump in from before, when you said about the starting a fullback, we have actually won a lot of games with four in defence, running the full fullback. That's looking off last season. We had that really good period. A lot of those games we had fullback, and then we jumped back to the three back and we started losing again. So I think we even started this last season off with more of a four at the back, and they were different, defenders back then, but that tactic seemed to work a lot better than the three back.
Look, I agree with you. Defensively, the tactic worked better, but I feel like we lost a lot of our identity and the way that we play going forward. Players like Connor Payne didn't have as much of an impact, who's been one of our standout players this year, and Dylan Parias obviously didn't play as much last season when we did that, but this season I feel like that would impact his game as well. So it's a tricky one, because I feel like the formation would work. I feel like the players at the back, apart from Tomoki and Mai, just aren't good enough.
Yeah, we're going to have to... Yeah, it's a bit of a mix and mash. We've all got to...
Yeah, Yeah, look, I don't disagree with 4 at the back. I'm not saying anything you've said is wrong, but I think the best way that we play is 3 at the back. I just don't think our defenders are good enough.
I agree with what you're saying, and I think a lot of our problem is we depend on people like Amay and Calva to set us up, and I think they supplement either defensively our wing backs or those wing backs in an attacking capacity. So we see Amay getting so far forward and setting up play, which is all good.
But he's not the problem, remember.
I'm saying that's a tactical issue, not a player issue. Where if you're told to get up and feed the ball in, but leave us exposed consistently, not to mention all the turnovers in the front third, like in the attacking third from Berisha, you know what I mean? We turn over balls so much, and that leaves us exposed because we're setting up our wing backs, and then we're jacked. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm right here either. I'm just, I feel like when we push too deep, we're supplementing our issues in other situations with our defense too much.
No, I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
Look, a little bit of lightheartedness here. I just think maybe Tomoki Amai is too good and they want him all around the pitch. And Roods knows how good he is, so he pushes him forward and the defenders back there can't do the job when he's not there. He can do it all. Look, honestly, get rid of Curto. I love Ryan Scott. Get rid of him too. Chuck Tomoki in goals. I don't think we'll concede.
All I'm saying is Tomoki Amai, new Lord Mayor of Melbourne. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Oi, Shinji Ono, step off. You don't want none of this. We got Tomoki and Amai.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys one. I want a one-word answer each, okay? What change would you make to seal a win, Scott?
4 at the back.
Levy.
4 at the back. Oh, yeah. 4 at the back.
That wasn't one word, buddy.
He did the...
No, I'm fucking with you.
Yeah, you know what I mean? A short, little concise thing.
All right. My one word, Calva.
Contextually?
As striker?
Calvary out of the side.
Yeah, I get you.
Put Brendan Hamill in.
If I had to say one thing I'd like to change, I would like to see Milanovic as starting striker, which I know went against my one ball thing.
Striker? I thought he was like a midfielder, attacking midfielder though.
I don't give a shit. I would need someone down in there.
Okay, false 9. I'll give you that one.
Yeah, which we talked about a lot last week, false 9. Who do you think's going to get the first goal?
Not us, Jamie McLaren or Craig Noon.
It's going to be Nooney.
It's one of the two. It's not us though, unless it's Ivan Buica, and then we'd still probably lose the game.
I'll call it now. Berisha just pops up out of nowhere as usual, or Diamante penalty.
Scott, I cannot believe you're more pro Berisha than me in an episode, and I'm pretty pro Berisha.
He pops up in those moments, and it sucked to be in. I feel we've got this one this week.
All right, Wallace, I think we've set it up pretty well. We might have to go straight into the predictions now.
Okay, what do you guys think of the score?
Who wants to go first? Maybe you go first. Maybe you go first, Wallace. Since
thank you.
Me and Scotty are a bit divided.
This is going to be a Goalapalooza 3-2, and I really want us to win, but I'm not confident.
City. You picked City?
I'm picking us just out of... I tipped us in ESPN with a 1-goal win, so yeah, us 3-2.
I'm going 2-1. We get up. And someone like Noon will score for them, not McLaren.
Levy?
4-0 City.
That's bleak, man. That is bleak.
2 goals to Noon, 1 goal to McLaren, and then 1 goal. Maybe even an own goal. Like I don't know, Tomoki Amai, because I've been talking so good about him.
Well, he did get one in that game against City last year. He got that header in.
Yeah.
Do you think Inman will get game time this week?
No.
Scott?
No.
Okay.
We've had like a 2-week rest, so our players should be fresh and ready to go. So we'll stick with the usual players we have.
Look, I've wanted to talk about this for a little bit. Like Brad Inman, good player, like Australian player, fits the quota, all of that. I get it. Why have a player like him when we could have kept players like Josh Cavallo? It doesn't make any sense to me. It's Brad Inman, good player, a lot older, Cabs has so much more room to improve, already integrated with the squad. Brad Ingman's only signed for the rest of the season, as far as I'm aware. I see him getting like a Kane Shepherd role where he'll come on for 5 minutes for like 3 games, like a Kwabena Apiakubi role, like play 2 games and then we'll never see him again. I don't get it.
I think the whole point was, I think Cavallo more chose to leave rather than we wanted him gone.
I'm still upset.
I think Ingman's more of a, because we have so many games to come up, we're going to be playing every 3 days. I think if we get an injury or 2, because of those games,
he'll be straight into the starting lineup. Yeah,
that's what he's for. It's more of a backup. I think. Yeah, Ryan was saying it the other day, talking about it. So
it's what we signed Lustica first for, I think, and then he actually proved himself and stayed in made himself an integral part of the squad.
What does that mean if we can't get a win here? Because we're currently sitting 10th.
Not good. Finals chances are they're not looking bleak, but I don't think we'll pick it up this game. I think we still can pick it up. We've got to do some hard yards to be able to do it. But we've got some work ahead of us because it's a really tough season. Every team apart from Victory and Newcastle are performing really well.
Wellington. Sorry, I just want to drop.
No, Wellington is still performing decently, but it's Victory. I can't see us finishing 11th or lower. Put it that way. I think it's set with though. I don't know who's going to finish bottom out of the 2. Probably Victory, but I see those 2 at the bottom. But from anywhere above that, it's fair game at the moment. And that's what makes it so tough that we really need to start picking up some results. I don't think this week's going to be the week. But I think especially if we get done in hard this week, let's hope some people pull their heads in and we pick up some, go on our own results.
Scotty?
Yeah, this week is actually a bigger week than you think. I think if we don't win it, we're going to lose a lot of faith. A lot of fans are going to be a bit upset because we've probably got one of the best sides. If you pull each player individually, we've probably got one of the best sides going around, besides probably City, of course. But we only gained in a new player with Ika coming in this season. So we've only gained rather than lost. And, we're sitting, 3rd bottom of the ladder. I know we haven't played as much as other teams, but we're still third, where we could have won so much more and been, easily top 4 with 3 games in hand. So we've lost it ourselves.
We've got a better side than Adelaide. We've got a better side than MacArthur. We've got a better side than Central Coast, and they're all sitting above us. It's I understand that we've been moving around a lot this season. We haven't been able to actually get settled at a proper home stadium. We've got that against us. COVID's been an issue too, but it's not. It's been the same for everyone. It's not really an excuse.
Yeah, go on.
I was going to say, it's not, as you're saying, we haven't recruited badly. We kept the majority of our squad, so theoretically we should have bounced back and bounce well into the season, which we didn't. So it's really it's not good because we've had such a slow start. And is that something we should expect from this club, not being able to perform till the 12th or 14th round? You know what I mean? Is that where we're headed?
It's starting to seem like that. I think, last season we started off strong, then we dipped big time throughout the middle of the season, and then we come
really
home.
Big.
And it seems to be what's happening again now. Obviously there's some, they're working on it, and hopefully maybe next season they might figure out the middle area and go for a full season rather than, just start strong, dipping and going back strong, hopefully going back strong towards the end of the season. So
let's move on because we don't want to get into negative land. On the other side of this fixture is the community work Western United are doing with Food Bank. The match will be coined the Food Bank match and is aimed to raise funds and spread awareness on what Food Bank does within the community. Each player will don a Food Bank special branded home jersey, all of which will be auctioned off with the proceeds going to Food Bank. What do you think the jersey is going to look like?
I have no clue. Honestly, you telling me just then is the first time I heard about the jersey. I'd heard about everything else apart from that.
So who's designing the jersey?
No. All we know is, and this is in the press release, is that there is a collaboration with Food Bank that's going to be a custom jersey, and they'll be auctioned off at the end of the game. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here and reference the last year when we had the hearts at the middle of I think it was for the bushfires. I dare say something like that. What I would like to see, and this is crazy, is
a completely different design.
Yeah, bear with me, sir. Food Bank's colours are purple. A purple, like a big, something crazy purple. Western United purple jersey. I know it's crazy, but I would like to see it because...
Hey, it's possible.
That's what I'm saying.
Central Coast have done the pink and all of that before, so it's possible.
But I dare say it'll be something like a small branding or whatever. I want to see something crazy. On another note, proceeds from the sale of Thunder Sticks, which I don't know what are, and Western United flags will go towards Food Bank. I'm loving this.
Thunder Sticks are those blow up, like the two blow up thingos that you smack together.
Oh.
And they just they sound, well, they're meant to sound like thunder. They don't really sound like thunder, but they make a noise. It's like clappers that are like plastic balloons at the same time.
So Food Bank is Australia's largest food relief organisation, operating on a scale that makes it crucial to the work of the frontline charities who are feeding vulnerable Australians. Food Bank provides more than 70% of the food rescued for food relief organisations nationwide. What do you guys think of this initiative?
Fantastic. They're doing a good thing for the community, doing a good thing for a company that's trying to do good things. It's it's something that more football teams and not just football teams, but any sort of business that has influence and kind of has sway should kind of do to promote these sorts of things that at the end of the day, we're trying to help underprivileged people. We're trying to help people in need. So anyone that has any kind of sway that can kind of influence the community in fantastic ways, I'm all for it. It's something that we should see more of.
Yeah, I think they've pretty much said it all. They're just doing a fantastic job, and it's great to see the club and everyone involved, jumping in and helping out.
Yeah, I think it's really good to see a club such as Western United who extend its working relationship with Food Bank. You know what I mean? That's a big deal. And that's one of those things I was a bit surprised by, is how much the club is extending itself into helping float jets, doing this kind of work. There's a lot of things that you wouldn't expect from a club that's building and establishing itself. So I really like what they're doing for the community with all the community work they do. It's not something that you'd think be financially viable. So I'm a big fan of it. So, yeah. Any final comments on the game? Sorry, I got into a bit of a tangent there, guys.
We're going to do it.
I hope so. Scott, I like your thinking. I hope so.
Okay, let's move on to the more attainable game. On April 5th, we take on Newcastle Jets at McDonald Jones Stadium, just 4 days after our big game against City. Jets are currently sitting 11th, one spot in front of us with 11 points from the season. We have 14 at this point prior to the game with City. How do you think fatigue will factor into this game?
I don't think it will. I think we'll have an entertaining 3-1 win.
Well, do we have the part of the contract where our players can't play against our ex-players can't play against us? Is that involved? Because
because it happened. Oh, look, it could have happened with Stammer. You'll be released, so it definitely wouldn't have been able to happen with you regardless. But we didn't do it with Stammer. So
there's your one goal scorer with your 3-1.
Stammer.
It'll be Roy. It'll be Roy the boy.
Nah, it'll be Stammer.
Speaking of that, did you see his goal? He's one goal against Perth. That was.
He'll prove his point this week that we shouldn't have let him go. You watch.
Do you expect this to be squatty heavy or our starting 11?
I hope we give a few other players a bit of a go, because there is only a few day break, 4-day break. So I hope we get a bit of Milanovic, get a bit of game time, and a few of the other little kids coming through the ranks, more game time, and rest some of the senior players, because it is Newcastle. Have the senior players still there, but more on the bench just in case. That's what I would rather see. Give the old guys a bit of a rest, and let the young guys just run wild. Let Wales show what he can do for full 90 minutes, and Milanovic there as well. So I hope we go with that approach, being Newcastle as well, and hopefully, we get to see some of the young talent.
I think that with
probably going to win this game. It is a bit of a tough one though. Like it's sorry. It's a bit of a tough one because we are coming off a game that's going to be very intense a few days earlier. We probably will need to rotate the squad a little bit, and it's going to be interesting to see whether or not we actually rotate the squad for City and try and play because I can't see us playing a super strong squad against Newcastle if we play our full strength against City. So it'll be interesting to see if we rotate a little bit for that, save a little bit for the Newcastle game, which in my eyes is a bit more attainable because at the moment City's head and shoulders beyond everybody else. But I think we should come away with a win with that one.
So we're yet to beat Jets. We have 1 draw and 2 losses, and Bugard, who has been on best the entire time, is injured and will be sidelined no matter what. Do you think we got this?
If we
I answered that
we
question
got it.
before.
Yeah. With our former players, Yule and Stemmer, playing against us, who will score first?
Stammer.
Yule. Who you got?
Neither.
You've done a bit of.
I think we'll win 3-1 and Roy O'Donnell will score. You might get the assist though.
Yule starts to the bench, I think, a lot for them now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I
He's their
agree.
impact player.
3-0.
We'll be 3-0 up and then we'll throw away the clean sheet or something.